Hello everybody, Jimmy is Promo here. In this episode of Gadgets and Stuff, this is episode 7, and I will actually be talking about all 3 different types of lenses that you can use on your Android smartphone or also your Apple device, and they come from Mozeat Lens.
Sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
So the 3 that I'll be talking about today is this first one right here is 18mm super wide angle lens. So just so you guys can see, this is a pretty wide box, and you'll be probably surprised on exactly what this looks like for a lens for a smartphone. The next one, sorry, there's a little bit of tear right here from when I took off a sticker. This one's a 60mm 2x telephoto lens, which means that this will be pretty much a telescope. It'll be a 2x lens, so you'd be able to get much closer to your object that you're taking an image of. And this one's actually a 3-in-1, and this is a wide angle. There's also a macro and a fisheye lens. So let's actually go into this very first box over here, and let's check this out. So inside this box, you will actually have a little carrying case, a little pouch, which will make it much easier to transport. Since this is a lens and it's not a fooling around type of lens, you do want to protect it. Inside of this little box here, there is a microfiber wipe. There is a little bit of details and specs on the lens itself, which I'd be able to give you guys some of that details a little bit later on. And this very last piece, this is actually what you will see here as the cap for the lens for transportation inside your pouch. And this right here is actually the universal clip. So it's actually extremely easy. It's really cool. You basically just slide the lens inside of here, and this will allow it to fit snugly onto any device that you have. Now let's look at this bad boy lens right there. So let's first take it out, and actually what I will use is the microfiber wipe. Press it right on out of there just so I don't put any fingerprints on there. And here is the lens. So as I said, we're not fooling around. And so this right here states that it is a professional HD wide angle lens. So let's snap this on the little adapter. Once you place it right on inside of there, there's only one little area where it can snap into, and then now this is where you can place it onto your phone. So these are actually some specs of the super wide angle lens, and what I'll do is I'll actually write some of this stuff below the video, so make sure you hit on the description, because that's also where I will be placing the links for Amazon to purchase these lenses if any of these are fitting your fancy. So to ensure that this is on properly, just look through this little lens here and making sure that you can see the entire lens of the lens on the camera. Now the other way you can actually do this is actually just going on into the camera itself, and you just want to make sure that you place it on there to where everything is looking all clean and clear. So what I'll do is once all of the lenses are properly on the phone and I've showed everything off just so you guys can see it, at the end of each of these lenses I'll actually put some before and after images so you can see what it looks like when you have the lens on and when you have the lens off. The next one to check out is the Telephoto lens, which is the 2x zoom. So my guess is that the contents of this box is probably going to be extremely similar to what we have just seen. So here is the carrying case, and it's got a little bit of a snap right there, which is kind of nice. And then here inside of here should be where you have the specifications and everything else for this lens, which right here, I will place this below the video as a reminder. And then the rest of the stuff here is the microfiber wipe. And then you've also got your cap for the lens, and then also the universal clip that I'd be able to use on any of your smartphones. So let's take a little gander and a look at this telephoto. So you can just tell right here that that is something thick right there. That is something that will be easily 2x zoom, getting you closer to what you are taking a picture of. So let's look at what this looks like. So here it is, the professional HD telephoto lens. And it also says the ultra low distortion, again from Mozeat Lens. So let's see, ooh, look how thick that is. So let's actually place this inside the universal clip. And from before, you guys saw where I took an image with the Note 5. I will still take images with the Note 5, so everything is constant, but I just want to show you guys that, yes, you are able to place it on a phone that is a little bit smaller in size of a frame. So let's place this on. So this is what the Galaxy S6 looks like with this big bad boy. That is a 2-time zoom. So let's head up into the camera, make sure everything is actually focused correctly and everything is looking good. Oh, okay, so you can already tell right there that this is something pretty close. So let's look at this lens right here and focus a little bit. And I think what I might be able to do is actually even... No, that actually looks really clear. Let's actually take an image just for fun. So this is what it looks like when you have this lens on. And if I can try and keep my hands pretty much where they were, so it looks like it was just off just a little bit. Let's take this guy off, place this right where it was. Image. And so this right here is an instant, pretty much, seeing exactly what all it does with the 2-time zoom. So this is actually extremely clear. But like I said from before, I will actually take my Note 5 and actually do a little bit more tests. I'll actually do 3 different images, again, showing you what it looks like without this lens, and then 3 of what it is. So if you are actually looking to get a little bit time zoom, so let's say you're at a baseball game and you want to see as if you're a little bit closer or make it look like you're a little bit closer, then you actually be able to put this on there and it actually comes out extremely clear, to be honest. And the other thing is that it is edge to edge, so nobody is going to know that you actually, through a lens, optically, were 2 times closer than if you were to actually digitally zoom in. So it will be a little bit more clear if you have a lens like this. So I'm going to actually pause this, take a couple photos, so you can see the change. And here's the last one, which is the wide angle, also the macro lens, and fisheye lens. So actually, out of all of these, my favorite is definitely macro lens, just because you can get extremely close with your thing that you're taking a picture of. So this right here is the little carrying case, the little pouch, and then your microfiber wipe again. And then this right here actually gives you a little bit of details on it. It'll tell you exactly how to place it onto the device, and also it tells you here that the macro lens is the one that is able to turn into 2 different lenses. That is how you have 3 in one, but you got 2 in here. So let's actually push this out and let's see what we got. So here we are with the little attachments that makes it universal. And so you actually got both of them right here. And then here are the 2 lenses, which these are going to be a little bit smaller than the other ones you've seen, but they are not going to be as crazy powerful as the other ones that you have just watched. So this one right here is actually the fisheye lens. You can tell you're not able to turn this at all to pop off another lens, and so this is where you'd be able to do fisheye. And so let's actually just attach this inside of there. So we got that one attached, so we will look at this one here in a second. This last one here is actually the wide angle lens and also the macro lens. So when you actually spin this apart and you take it right off there, this is actually 2 pieces. And so let's actually look at the instructions on exactly what they are. So it looks as if this very first one here is the macro lens. So when you have this all by itself, this is macro, which means you're going to be able to take extremely close images of whatever you're taking a picture of. And then you also got the second part here, and when you add it on there, then this is what makes it the wide angle lens. So now you guys can see that there is actually several different options that you guys would be able to do if you guys are into photography or like to take all of your picture taking to the next step. You've got actually a telephoto lens, which will be a 2-time magnify. You also have a super wide angle lens. You're going to have yourself a fisheye lens, and you also got yourself a wide angle and a macro lens. All of these from the exact same company, Mozeat Lens. So I hope you guys have liked this video. Make sure you guys hit on like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.